Well, folks, spent many months, many years even, commenting on how often I would lose. Fairly so. Happened a lot, Oracle. You were there for a lot of it. The last 24 hours have been borderline absurd. Today's event in particular, I could tell just from my pre-show chat with Oracle that we both share grander concerns beyond the grin that I got from this pure moment. But I did laugh out loud. This is the NXT Stand and Deliver review. Oracle, before we get into the show, how are you today, pal? You were very tired last night. You look much more refreshed today, pal.
I'm doing okay. The results of the second half of the show left me concerned. We will talk about that. I enjoyed it. We'll also talk about how results as well as the in-between match vignettes and so on are not something that bode well for this evening and tomorrow evening. It was a fun show. I'm doing well. I'm like you said, a bit more refreshed.
Yeah.
Should have told you on the pre-show, but why not? We have production meetings all the time.
Yes.
My brother might be here at 5, so let's we got about 75 minutes to
That's fine.
cover the show, which I think is plenty of time.
Yeah, I would say so. I think we'll be okay. Okay, folks. So I'd imagine it looks like from the chat, I kind of assume this would be the case. I don't know how much of our audience actually watched this show, which is hilarious. Before we even get into the match by match, Oracle, wasn't it weird tonally this compared to like the takeovers of yesteryear? Like I know we all knew it was different. I know, but like crowd wise, how strange was this? It was surreal, wasn't it?
It was so bizarre because in the NXT 1.0 Black and Gold era, on the taped pre-shows that would be on TV the following Wednesday, crowd was packed, it was full. Women's tag title match, place was, half empty.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm certain it wasn't a sellout.
Certainly didn't look like it.
No. This looked the presentation was very much on NXT.
Yeah.
Colorful, looked like something you would see.
It was horrible.
It was bad.
Why do they shoot so close to the ring too?
I don't know.
They're right on top of it. It's uncomfortable, Oracle. I don't like it. Anyway, carry on.
It's not. I don't know. It's very different.
Yeah. It sure is. The vibe was a bunch of people wanted to do something with their afternoon before they went to WrestleMania. You got the sense very few people in the audience actually had watched the TV because they wasn't reacting to like the stuff that had been said. No. They just was like familiar faces, right? Like Dolph, Ciampa, they popped. Mm-hmm. There was not much reaction for stuff that's been getting over on their TV. Getting over I use loosely because, this was pretty damning, I thought, in that regard. We'll get into it as we go match by match, but I thought we should lead with that because it was just weird. Tonally, it was real strange. Okay. Now, let's start with the pre-show match. Title change, Oracle. Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai are back together. They beat Toxic Attraction. Match was fine, but I couldn't just stop focusing on how damn cold the thing was in terms of heat. It was, you said there was empty seats, but there was no sound.
No.
It was really strange. What did you think of the match and then kind of, the finish and so on and so forth?
I thought Dakota Kai looked good. The other three were kind of...
Yeah.
Gigi's really ambitious offensively. Her execution isn't always the most safe looking. And I'm not even saying she's an unsafe worker or anything. I'm not, but I think she has something there in terms of like that type of big offense, whatever, weirdly enough. But JC Jane and Raquel just don't do anything for me at all.
Yeah.
Raquel has regressed. Her finisher looks good. I've always thought,
Yes.
I've always thought the was it the Chingona bomb or whatever it is?
Mm-hmm.
Looks good, looks brutal. The deal with Wendy Chu makes sense from a TV standpoint. But I mean,
Execution was.
yeah. Just this was one of the weaker overall things on the show.
Yeah.
This was the match just wasn't that good. But it didn't overstay its welcome. It was
Right.
just the different presentation, the different look, the half crowd, the silent crowd.
Yeah.
It was just you know
If you was watching on YouTube and you didn't have a Peacock subscription, you wouldn't have watched this and said, "Well, let me get some more of this." It wasn't that
probably
vibe.
not. No,
No,
no.
it wasn't that vibe. Nonetheless, they did lead in pretty strong fashion when it came to the show itself. The ladder match, Fatal 5-Way, Cameron Grimes winning the North American title over Carmelo Hayes, Santos Escobar, Solo Sikoa, and Grayson Waller. I thought this was too long and got excessive at the end. But through 2 acts, I actually thought it was like a refreshing multi-man ladder match. I didn't think it was too much. And then they did it all at the end. It was like, okay, enough, Dude, Grayson Waller's arm. I don't know how if he survived this with his arm intact. I have no clue how. That was gnarly. And the way they show it, he just looked dumb because he just it didn't even like Carmelo moved the way they show it. Just like he just jumped onto a ladder. The right finish. Young Solo had a couple of scary moments where he dropped, the Simone drop spot. But I love his look and his vibe pops me. I like all of these guys. Santos Escobar is money. Love that act. I thought they killed it. You know me and know enough. This is not really my thing. But for what it was, I thought they rocked it, even if I winced a lot and was kind of scared for their health a couple times. But I thought they rocked the play. What did you think?
Yeah, this was good. Probably a little long in the tooth. Several crazy stuff. Trick Williams has great faces. He's somebody who knows how to do the WWE acting stuff.
Yeah.
About 90% of wrestlers don't, because 90% of wrestlers, shouldn't have to do that. But he's one of the rare people who actually can do that, which is a compliment.
Yeah.
But you have to be certain type of charisma to be able to do stuff like that. Escobar, who I like, they had him try to do like "Why I'm So Violent" or something after the sunset flip, and I was just like, listen. Even, but I could tell even he was kind of like, do I have to do this? You could tell, he was just kind of like, So, I don't know why they kept panning to his face, because he didn't really put much effort into it, because I don't think he wanted to do something that dumb. But again, Trick Williams, great as a second. It made me laugh when they have they always do this shit now where all the seconds have their own match in a ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
And it's absurd kind of rules, but also really stupid at the same time. Why? The one big dude for Grayson Waller, it's he has I don't know why, but they had him catch 2 dives.
He didn't want to do either.
No, he was scared. And he just sort of delayed after the catches and sort of stumbled. It was very funny.
What about his performance with the ladder when Grayson was like, "Bring me the ladder," and he just rather than folding it, he just lifted it up. So then Grayson had to get out the ring and get it anyway. It was fucking wild. Did you see that? He didn't fall. He didn't he just picked it up and was like, "Here he is. Take it off with me." That ruled.
The flying elbow drop to that was
one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I mean, that's a compliment because it isn't my body.
I don't know. I couldn't tell if his arm actually looked like it broke or anything.
No, it was just too quick to see, right? It was
too quick to see. It definitely didn't look like a Ray Phoenix thing.
No.
Which thank God.
Yeah.
But and I think the elbow pad was worn for a reason, because I think they knew. I mean, I think he always has one, but I think they loaded it up to offer more more protection in the joints for that spot. but I'm not so sure. You can tell the ladder he elbowed was also like supposed to. I don't know what it was, but it didn't really break.
No, it's sort of like just jolted, like whiplash.
Yeah, it was like it was almost like a it was almost like a rubber band.
It was wild, man. It was a
Yeah,
crazy spot.
Yeah.
I
Carmelo
like
Hayes
him.
looked good.
Yes, he did.
Sikoa looked good. They had the one spot where he fell
Yeah.
over on that, but I thought his strikes looked good. I thought he was
He's
at
got
times
something.
the best worker in the match, other than maybe
Yeah.
Escobar.
He's got something.
Carmelo does too much sometimes. He does too many movements. But he's very good. There he is.
Yes. Bobby.
Okay.
Right, mate. I'm just talking about the ladder match.
The ladder match was good. It kind of reminded me, like, at least before the very end, it reminded me more of like one of the original Money in the Bank matches where it wasn't a ton of high spots, just like ones that would be designed to stick out, and then they kind of went overboard with it at the end. But like the first bit of it, that's kind of what it reminded me a lot of compared to like the ladder matches we've seen the past few years, where it's just kind of 100 miles an hour the whole time.
Oracle, how long was the Money in the Bank matches on WrestleMania? Like back when they were on Mania review, like what, 15?
Yeah,
15. Like 15.
This was
every time.
This was 21.
It's like these ones, these go like 20 to 30.
Yeah,
There's
and it's brutal
like
because
30.
you don't want to say that criticism because you feel mean almost because these guys kick the shit out of each other and it's like God bless, but it's too much. At some point, you get numb to it. It's just that's my read on it. Anything on the decision of winner? I think we all co-signed that, right? Probably was the right call to have Cameron Grimes.
Grimes should have won. One of the few decisions they made right tonight.
Oracle, does it pop you? They do the thing where, like, you remember back in WCW pay-per-views when Bish would be the host and the crowd could hear him when he'd be with like Missy Hyatt hosting the show. Does it pop you? They do that on NXT 2.0.
Yes.
Yeah, tremendous. Wrestling is back. All right, Tony D'Angelo and Tommaso Ciampa. This was a fascinating match. I don't think it was bad. I actually think it was quite good, but it was just weird.
Yeah,
because it was a strange choice for Ciampa to have this opponent for this big grand farewell, right? Like he's a character guy. Nothing wrong with that, but he's a character guy. And like they went into the finish at what felt like the 8-minute mark, and then just like did stuff to extend it. The finish was so flat, and I get that's probably what they were going for because it was heat. Like the people were kind of upset. I don't know, man. I don't know. It was really weird, like the way it was put together. I thought Tony D's work was actually fine. He's just a gimmick, right? Like there's not. Like Oracle, you're doing the historical Oracle, you're watching it on 95, 96. Once upon a time, there was a lot of these guys on WWF card. Like, he's fine, he's a character. Was that the best choice for Tommaso Ciampa's big grand farewell? Probably not, but that's what he got. Oracle, go ahead. What did you think of it?
I mean, the match was fine. I thought really was the setting. Like, NXT 1.0 is dead. The fans don't watch the TV. The fans that were there don't watch the TV. So they didn't know how to respond to D'Angelo. They knew who Ciampa was, but they didn't really know the magnitude of the situation. I thought Ciampa put in a pretty heartfelt performance for the Triple H and Michaels tributes and the tribute to Johnny and stuff like that. I think he really put his all in it. I thought D'Angelo looked okay, The finish was flat, but I like the idea of it where Ciampa fell on a sword and lost. I just, other than the post match, which we'll talk about, I don't think this was the appropriate setting, and the only reason the post match worked was because of who came out. And there are other factors for why that pop was so big as well. Due to recent weeks and stuff. This just didn't seem like. I still think it was a good moment.
Yeah,
and a nice heartfelt thing for Ciampa at the end of the day. I really did. I think it worked ultimately, but the setting just was not. This was just not the right setting for it. This was not the perfect setting for it.
Yeah, tend to agree. Bob, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, the match was kind of what it was. I actually think Tony D'Angelo looked better than he had before in ring, and that's a good sign. But like, it was kind of weird. I agree with that. I thought his entrance was cool. Like, bringing in Major Galante was very cool, even though most people don't know who that is.
Factual.
But yeah, it was kind of a weird last opponent, but it was cool, the Triple H stuff, and then to have him come out at the end was pretty cool too.
Jay Show, how long have you been waiting backstage? Because you can bring yourself on screen. You just got here, right?
Yeah, it was like a minute.
Okay. I definitely didn't see you.
Did I ever tell you about the time that I went that I joined the Grin along and she didn't see me backstage? I was there for 15 minutes. I didn't say anything.
Oh my god! No, that rules.
Months ago. This was
That
months
rules.
ago.
I respect it. Jay Show, what did you give? This give you a chance to catch up here. The ladder match was something that you enjoyed very much, right? The opening ladder match. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did like the ladder match. I also liked the result. I had been saying before that I wanted Carmelo to actually lose here, and I posted many manifestations on my Twitter timeline of him winning the NXT Championship next, and the results of the match today fulfilled part of that prophecy. So
Yeah, it feels like we may have Dolph versus Carmelo Hayes on the horizon here, which is interesting. More on that later in the weeks to come on our many NXT programs around here.
my god.
Did you enjoy Tony D'Angelo versus Tommaso Ciampa?
Not really. I don't really like Tony D's matches too much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think the in-ring stuff doesn't really work for me. Him as a character is like funny. I guess it's comedy stuff, but like in real life, the wrestling stuff, he's good, but like you said before, he's a character wrestler. So
yeah, I think so. That kind of character is difficult. This is just me, but to me, characters like have a ceiling. You know, like you can do stuff with it underneath. When you start trying to convince me that he's gonna have the send-off match with Tommaso Ciampa, it's like, well, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Bob, you're a big Ciampa guy. Kind of put a bow on his NXT run, pal. He's an NXT Hall of Fame, whatever the fuck that means, and he had a hell of a run. In all seriousness, go ahead.
He did, yeah. I was never really as high on him as everyone else, but like, the stuff with Gargano before it went overboard was very good. And I actually his title run was not bad when he was feuding with the guy who we don't really talk about. I thought they had a really good match at War Games in LA. But they went back to stuff too much for him, I think, and it was hard to really have sustained like momentum as a fan of Ciampa.
Bob, I give you the floor to conclude with a big fairy tale ending. Send a guy off in grand style and you bring up a nonce. What the fuck, man? Come on, what do you think? This is an afternoon show. There's families watching this thing. Anyway.
Yeah, sure.
Triple threat tag. MSK versus Imperium versus the Creed brothers. They won, MSK did.
What parent would allow their child to watch this shit?
Now, let me tell you something. This situation we got with the Creed brothers is something different. I mean, I'm talking top of the big board. They're definitely dangerous. I understand that. I'm aware, but I'm not the one wrestling them. This has got like big non-WWF vibes, and that's the biggest compliment. This is like the least WWE thing I've seen in that promotion in years. They fucking fling guys. They're just athletes, just shooters. They just go there and take with suplexes. All three teams are great. But the Creed brothers, their experience level, I was blown away by how dynamic they are. Bobby, you and I have been hunting on them for the longest. By that, I mean about 3 months. This was great, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they started the match for like 4 straight minutes, just throwing guys around, and the crowd didn't really know what to do. And but like, it was incredible, man. And I really wish they would have won, but I think it was a star-making performance for them. And they are different. They're different than, I think, anything else in the whole company, NXT or main roster right now. And that can go one of 2 ways, and hopefully it goes a good way.
Hopefully. I really did like the match. It was explosive, and the power element added something different. Jay, what did you think of the triple threat tag?
Oh, I really liked this match. I love the cannonball. Oh,
yes, that rule.
Yeah, the cannonball is my favorite part of the match, to be honest. It's probably one of my favorite things I've seen all weekend, and I've watched a lot of wrestling, so it popped me very huge. And I honestly don't think that the result was correct. I think it should have been the Creed Bros win. But Wade Barrett saying Dipset on pay-per-view, I literally looked at that man like, what did you just say? Do you know what you're saying right now, my dude?
Bivens is...
I don't know what that means. Don't tell me.
Okay, we'll leave it there.
I just want to say that Bivens is a treasure,
Bivens is like the top of my race. Bivens is like a it's like a prized treasure. Yeah.
He's the greatest. Oracle, what did you think of the match? More specifically, the greatest WCW tag team since 1994. The Creed brothers, bro. Here we go. It's getting it.
They rule. The cannonball spot was incredible because we used to joke about a cannonball dive when I was a kid. And it actually came to life, and it looked exactly like I wanted it to look. And it's fucking insane because if he doesn't release from his cannonball position, he could fuck himself badly. So, like, I mean, it was just, it ruled. I've never liked MSK. I didn't like him in TNA or Impact either. Too fucking flippy dude for me.
Damn.
I mean, they have some good matches, but it's just, I will say the finish was tremendous.
Yeah.
But I've never been fans. Imperium are good. I like them. A few, you know. God, I can't speak. My brain just went dead. I'm fine. I'm well rested. Fine, folks.
My brain just went dead.
I liked Imperium a few years ago more, but you know, they're good. I don't know. This was kind of the beginning of like the winners and losers being like kind of disappointing.
Look, man, I know you're upset about LA Knight, but you're gonna have to, you know.
No, that.
I have to say, Reese mentions it. No Rod Strong. Look, I ain't trying to speculate on anyone's careers, but like, I don't know how much longer Rod's going to be in that territory because he gets pinned every time I see him on TV, and he wasn't even on this show. And there was people on this show that didn't need to be on it, and Rod Strong's one of the great workers the last 20 years. So
he didn't even get a promo video like Nikita Lyons. Nikita did a dance and everything.
Oh God, that was bad. That's our guy Monty said that's wrestle crap. That shit. That's like full on wrestle crap.
That is cultural appreciation. Appreciation would not be the right word for that. Appropriation is.
What do you want her to dress up like Lacey Evans?
Yes, that would rule. There should be a tag.
I'd prefer that. That'd probably be better. As long as she stops trying to be a black woman, you know, we'll be good there. Same for Mandy. But
they could do like one of those cool Fed name alliteration deals too with lions and like ladies. Bob, you got anything?
Lacey's Lions.
Yep, there you go.
She'll be back soon.
Fucking rules. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. All right.
Wait, is this for realsies or is this just because Marina?
He just quote tweets it.
Oh.
That's why I don't feel bad even saying it because it's like, I think we all know Rob will be okay. I don't think he'll be, you know, scrapping on the streets. I think he'll be okay. So we'll see. Mandy Rose retained a NXT Women's title of Cora Jade, Io Shirai, Kaylee Ray. Oh, the second half of this was actually a lot better than the first.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Io Shirai was fabulous. Cora Jade's got a long way to go. And listen, I take no pleasure in saying this. I can't. This Mandy Rose thing's just, I can't do it. It's one of those deals where like you can convince me with the video packages. You can pump all the promotion you want into it. I just don't think it's a real thing. I don't think audiences actually care. I don't think the work is where it needs to be. I don't think the promos where they need to be. And I'm not even saying any of this out of spite or like being mean. I just think, to me, this is just a waste of time. To be totally frank, I don't understand what it's achieving.
She just gets carried in every match. Like I remember no spots with her in the ring except the finish.
So like say Io Shirai carried Cora Jade, right? The end game to that is Cora Jade's a young wrestler, and you believe that she can get better, and eventually she could be a babyface on the main roster.
Yeah.
What's the end game with Mandy? Like you bring her up to the main roster, and she's what, like the fifth heel on the roster? You can't build a Raw or SmackDown roster around Mandy Rose. I just don't get it. Am I missing something, Bobby? I know we've talked about this a lot. I'm sorry for it, but I'm not even trying to. She's a nice person. I'm not trying to be a dick, but I don't understand this situation.
No, she's not like any different really than she was on the main roster. Like she hasn't really evolved or whatever. And that's not, maybe she wasn't trying to, maybe, but like at some point you do kind of question what she's really doing in developmental then, I guess. But like it's strange. And then, to keep having her win is interesting too, because like I think she was the right person to win this match, which is kind of weird too, considering everything going on. But like it's weird with her, man.
I just don't know what's being achieved. I really don't. Oracle, what do you think? Am I missing something?
No. She's not very good. Does Bruce Pritchard run this thing?
The main event finish gives you a pretty good clue on that front, brother.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, this brand's doomed. He sees, he probably wants to bang Mandy Rose and pushes her.
Yeah.
Kaylee Ray was great in that match. Great bump. God, she was great. She was like really good in it.
Mandy, somebody in the chat. Mandy technically won clean after Io did a moonsault. She just need
Finish looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's the only thing Mandy can do good is her running knee. It does look good.
It does.
Especially when it's out of frame too. It looks better.
Yeah.
Like when they shoot it that way.
But yeah, she's not very good. I think Cora was probably the one to win, although she's very green and needs work.
Yeah.
I don't know. This whole situation's not good. I think it's dire. I mean, we all kind of knew that, but the results, particularly with the two main title matches, were very concerning. I don't know what's going to be the future, but it will continue to sink because it sucks.
Fair. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just maybe they've convinced themselves they're going to bring up Toxic Attraction at some point this summer, and it'll be like red hot. And I just think that's fucking insane, absolutely insane. But what do I know? All right, I said all this. I didn't think that match sucked or anything. To be clear,
No, the match was. I mean, like I said, Kaylee Ray was really good in it. Like she was great in it.
Yeah,
but I mean, she took some bad falls But
this best way of it. If Mandy was like a great promo, or she was really captivating as a personality and she was super over, I would get it more. Does that make sense? Like, I just think it's a whole lot of nothing to me. It's difficult.
Yeah,
Andrew's right. Highlight that.
I think with Mandy, they're
you like that?
No, I said highlight that.
Oh.
Sorry, pal. Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, I think with Mandy, they're kind of going for a certain thing and they're attempting to achieve that, and
Right, let's just cut. Are you saying like they're trying to kind of capture some sex appeal on the program? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It feels like there's like a range of options you can go in that direction with. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's a lot of very, very attractive women on the WWE roster. I don't think they need to go all in on one particular name.
They got Nikita. They use her butt.
But forget NXT. Like imagine they're getting this ready because they want Mandy to be on their main roster again. I don't think like she's gonna come on Raw and the demo is gonna like fucking spy. Oh my god, there's an attractive woman on Raw. I don't think you're wrong, by the way, Bob. To be very clear,
has the same gimmick though. So
right, like to me, it's like maybe I'll be proven completely wrong. This may be. Gunther wrestled LA Knight in one of the strangest wrestling matches ever recorded by any major wrestling promotion. Gunther appears to have lost approximately 40 pounds since I last see him wrestle. I am happy for him, but it took me a lot of adjusting to. Okay? He then worked 8 minutes of this 10-minute match as a sort of early 90s WWF heel. He did many clubs to the back. It was all very strange. The crowd seemed to vaguely care about LA Knight, but not enough to make me pop. This match is weird enough just in concept, the fact that Eli Drake is wrestling Walter at NXT TakeOver that isn't a takeover. And I say all this to say, I thought it was a fine match, and Gunther kind of got into his Volta form at the end a little bit, but this was fucking weird, man. This was really weird. The vibe here was strange. It is. I have to say, and look, this is very difficult because the guy looks, he's very healthy, God bless, but it is weird when you're used to him looking a certain way. It was like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
It changes his whole dynamic, Jay Shaw, what did you see in this match?
Didn't like it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me. I'm happy Walter's happy. He's with Ginny, so good for him. Love to see that. I probably care more about their relationship than I do about his wrestling right now because there's no Walter anymore. I love LA Knight though. Dummy, yeah. That's my shit. Just do that.
He's one of the greatest wrestlers ever. Bob?
Yeah, it was very strange. It's been kind of strange, like just watching him transform, and again, like it's weird to talk about because like he's healthy, he's good, he clearly wants to do this, but like it takes some adjusting, He had a certain look, and it added to his intimidation. And I'm not gonna say he's not intimidating now, but like it's different.
He's kind of not. Look, if he sees this, brother, I'm certain you could kick the shit out of me. But like, you are objectively less scary than you were before. That's fine. You'll probably live longer. You look very healthy. God bless you. You seem very happy. But I can't pretend it isn't kind of upsetting to me. He used to be like really imposing and shit, man. He's like just real lean now. It's weird. It's strange. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. Oracle, what do you think of the match? What do you think of Gunther's transformation?
Real quick. Looks like we're gonna finish up this review before the hour is up.
Yeah.
Before we leave the stream.
Yeah.
The Oracle of Wrestling is going to pull up the betting lines.
Oh yes.
For WrestleMania Night 1.
Oh no.
And since we're so close, Jay Shell and I are gonna shiver in fear as we look at the betting lines. We're going to read them live on air. As far as this match goes,
yeah,
it was fine.
I'm getting the nasty feelings. It's too close.
2 3/4 Oracle.
Yeah, the finish was well done. I kind of figured Gunther would win. I mean, you can get like really silly to say his name. You could almost say like Gouda cheese, almost. Like Gouda.
What is happening?
Because it's just so silly. Why don't you just call him fucking Walter, man? But Bruce Pritchard with his comb over and his 5 o'clock shadow,
factual,
big old puffy face, says, "Well, Gunther. That was the name of a Nazi. Why don't we just give you that name?"
Okay, Jay, show your hand is raised.
Oh my God. So when I did my presentation on like my schoolwork or whatever, and I talked with the Late Night Grin, we watched Tommaso Ciampa versus Walter from TakeOver Stand and Deliver last year. And a lot of those people have like never, I mean, they've probably seen like one match where they know like Stone Cold Steve Austin or something like that. But like people were giving it like 4 out of 5 stars. And like, that's not who he is anymore. And it's kind of upsetting.
That match ruled. It's a different time. Very different time. It was better than Joe Gacy versus Roderick Strong. I have to say this. And I actually like Joe Gacy. I'm happy for him. He cut tonight one of the worst promos I've ever seen in a major promotion. God bless him.
I've never liked Joe Gacy.
That's fair.
Like, I thought he was fine on the indies or whatever, but he's one of the worst wrestlers in the world.
Wait, I never saw him on the indies. Didn't he wrestle death matches and stuff like that?
Yeah, he was a deathmatch guy, and then he was alongside King and Evolve for a little bit at the end there. They're the Unwanted. They're a team, heel team. They're pretty good. Eddie Kingston, not Brody King. I'm not going to co-sign one of the worst wrestlers in the whole world, but I respect it as a take.
Well, what I mean by that is not necessarily the in-ring work, but in terms of total, he's somebody who I can't watch him. He's unwatchable.
I have to be fair. Tonight's, I don't see enough of it, right? Tonight's promo was unfathomable. I couldn't believe it.
It was bad. Bad.
I heard in November 1963, then I realized where he was standing, and then my brain just kind of broke. Because
I'll be honest, Bob, this was so bad, I would actually recommend you go and seek it out. He appeared to be reading it. Someone on Twitter said it looked like he was. Someone on Twitter said that he was doing the promos and the teleprompter was slowing down, and that popped me tremendously. It was bad. It was real bad. Here's a good one. Good question, Josh. He says Oracle, Joe Gacy versus Luchasaurus.
Please, no.
Yeah. All right. Chad's going to just fill with Luchasaurus.
Wait,
answers
is that
now.
what actually happened? I think I was not paying attention to the promo.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is it was
Yeah.
he literally told me that my job was a bunch of buzzwords. Like what I'm going to college for is a bunch of buzzwords. Do you remember that promo where he was like diversity and inclusion or something like that? Like he was just saying a bunch of like buzzwords.
No,
was like-
that sounds bad.
It was at the beginning of his new gimmick. He was
Yeah.
like diversity and inclusion, like
I just
don't
feel
matter,
bad for him.
like that.
I feel bad for him because it's like, what are you going to do, right? So try and make that $80,000 NXT contract long as you can. God bless you, Joe Gacy. Keep going for it, brother. All right. Main event time for the NWA World Heavyweight title. The champion, Dolph Ziggler, with Bobby Roode alongside him. Both of them looked incredible, by the way. Took on Bron Breakker, who destroyed the new NXT logo. So I assume they're returning to black and gold this Tuesday. No one cleaned up the remains of the logo, so Dolph had to walk around them like a fucking goon. And they got off to a
should have stepped over it.
shaky start is what they got off to here, in which they had a miscommunication on leapfrog and both men nearly fell on their heads. There was one clothesline in which Bron nearly killed Dolph, and Dolph spoke pretty audibly in response to that. It appeared they lost their rhythm. I thought the first half of this was real flat. I thought they kind of willed it into being something worthwhile because it's Dolph Ziggler and Bron Breakker, and Bron has such fabulous instincts and physicality. So I ultimately thought it was pretty good. It was much less enjoyable than I would have liked. None of that mattered because of the finish, which made me laugh out loud. But I want to talk about the match before the finish, okay? Oracle, we talked about it a little bit. We'll get to the finish as a separate topic. Let's do the match first. What did you think of it?
The match was fine. The first half was not very good. Second half was pretty good. They worked it out there in the second half. The early flubs were kind of rough. They did the leapfrog mess up there, and then they had the weird clothesline spot where Bron almost killed Dolph. Like they got things back together after the headlock, right? And everything kind of worked after that. I think they kind of, I imagine Dolph was probably going to do his little sleeper thing anyways, but that kind of grinded the match to halt, but they probably had to.
I think they did, yeah.
But they got things back in order. They had a really good second half. The finish was just...
We'll get there.
Very fun.
We'll circle back on the finish. Do you Bron was selling his neck and the back of his head? Do you think that was just tremendous selling, or was he hurt by something? He looked a little shook up, I thought, at one point in the match. You know when he was clutching the back of his head? He just looked like he was hurt a little to me. I don't know if he got buzzed out there or something happened. I don't know. Bobby, what did you think of the match and then that specific point that I've... Right.
Yeah, it was kind of rough for the first half of it or so, and I'm like, this kind of needs to kick up a little bit, and it did. Credit to them. I still wasn't quite what I was expecting, which, that could happen for any number of reasons. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens Monday and Tuesday, I think, because we're in a weird spot right now.
Factual. Jay Shell, again, we'll talk about the finish in a second, but firstly, the match itself.
Yeah, I wasn't paying too much attention to the beginning of the match because it was just it was not too good and it wasn't able to grab my attention. But I did pay attention to a lot of the ending sequences, which I thought were pretty strong. I felt maybe because I thought that I knew the result, I was biting really hard on all the Bron pins. I don't like how they kind of made the referee look like a joke when they sent Roode to the back and then Roode comes out anyway and the ref doesn't do anything about it. I saw Bob tweeting about his dad and uncle coming out, which I thought would have happened too. That would have been fun. But yeah, that's all I have to say on the match.
Okay, so the finish is objectively one of the funniest things in wrestling history. They did the zigzag falsie, and I was watching my brother. I go, I ain't fucking buying on that. I said, Dolph's not winning this match. In fact, 2 minutes later, he pinned him with a super kick. I popped huge. I was howling. Really laughed uproariously. It has to be assumed Bron is getting called up.
Mm-hmm.
Before we proceed, do we all agree on that much? Bron is probably getting called up to the main roster. Oracle's unsure. So's Jay Shell?
I would lean
75-25.
Yeah.
I would lean yes. I think it would make sense. That's the only reason why you would lose this.
Okay, Oracle, can you kind of expand? We talked about a little bit before the show. Like, even with that in mind, there are some concerns, right, about what that means. Like, elaborate on that a little.
What it means is that we have Mandy Rose and Dolph Ziggler as your developmental champions. And here's the thing. Yeah. I think the idea is it's hilarious. I don't think they necessarily think so much with Mandy, though. I think part of it is that they do think that.
Yeah.
They see Mandy as someone who's WWE and knows how WWE works, so she can teach these younger, new girls how to be in WWE. I'm serious, Jay Shaw. I know it sounds absurd.
I know it's WWE's all she knows. I guess.
Ziggler,
yada, yada, yada.
Who I do think is a veteran and a solid one at that, is there to be the champion, to do the thing for to help groom the men who they want to. So I think the idea is that you give these main roster people these big pushes to help these other people move on. I think that's the idea, but the problem is that eventually you got to have them have success in NXT, other than just being losing to fucking Dolph Ziggler.
The other thing too, there's no house shows. No. It's not like you can have Dolph out there working a 10-minute match with solo Sakara. Like you could, he's going to just do. And TV's fun, but it's not.
Chop says it's a ratings thing. I don't know. I mean, maybe, but the Wednesday Night War is over.
I will say the ratings have gone up like a slight tick since Dolph won the belt. So maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's totally out of the question, but I also don't think it matters as much anymore.
Yeah.
They're not running up against anybody.
Yeah, they were trying to maximize the ratings. I think they do a lot of things differently on that show.
Yeah, I think so too.
Jay Shell?
2 things. 1, Mandy thing, I really don't know how they're going to get their way out of that, because I feel like it's just going to end up being somebody I really hate, and I'm just going to be even more miserable about this situation. So I'm going to, watch myself. I've always hated Toxic Attraction. I always hate I'm a hot woman and I don't really know how to wrestle, but I still win anyway gimmick. I don't like that. That's not the life for me. That's not it.
Body language you've put with that.
But I don't like that at all. And I don't know how you get out of that. I'm happy that Toxic Attraction lost the titles, but I really think that they're going to try to send them up soon. And I hope that Mandy just goes with them. So I just can try to ignore them, because if they're champions, then I can't really ignore them. As long as they don't beat Naomi and Sasha for the titles, I really don't care, because that division sucks anyway. Anywho, Carmelo better win that title off of Dolph, and it better be the biggest moment of his whole entire life. And I better be sitting there crying real tears, because otherwise I'm going to be pissed off. Carmelo is next in line for the title. People are telling me he's not ready. I think he's more than ready. If Braun was champion, then Carmelo deserves to be champion. And I will slap you if you disagree.
Let me say this. Is Carmelo a babyface or a heel?
It doesn't matter. You can make him a babyface again if you want.
Well, somebody needs to call it Bruce Pritchard, because
I mean, fair. I feel like he works as a face.
I don't think you're wrong either. I'm just saying that depending on, I know I keep going back to the same thing, but with whoever is, if whoever runs NXT is true, some character traits will have to align correctly, I think, in order for that to happen.
Can we talk about?
It's clearly popular with the NXT audience.
Yes. Can we talk about how funny it is that a whole segment of Twitter celebrated the fact that NXT was being a developmental again, and Dolph and Mandy are the champs, and none of them have walked this back at all. We talk about that, Bob? Do you want to have a comment on that?
No, I probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
Carlos Omega is giving lap dances on Mission Pro.
I shouldn't. Bob said I should. Bob literally just said for political reasons it will not happen. No. Okay, fair. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I really
It's
don't.
tough. I don't know either, man. Like, Carmelo should definitely be the one to be like built as the next challenger. There's no question. I don't know. Walter won that match, but then he's a heel, right? So like it's
Dolph
weird.
might just be a babyface now, man. They cheer him anyway, you know.
Yeah, I guess which would back up Jay Shell's argument that Carmelo could just win anyways, because he's not necessarily a babyface or a heel.
What a weird situation they find themselves in.
Yeah.
We need to talk about this.
Okay.
Bob, one of the great Twitter days in the land of O'Neill.
Before I read this betting line.
Okay.
Do we need to wrap up the NXT and our final thoughts on the show?
We will do that, but I do want to give Bob a chance to make a public comment on his Twitter today.
Oh God.
Yeah, I apologize for calling it what I call it, bland and disaster, which admittedly not that funny, but it popped me.
Very funny.
I was getting my coffee before the show. I tweeted it, and then I checked my phone again when I got home, and people were upset. And I apologize for doing a bit. I need to do better. And it's holding myself accountable here.
We appreciate it, Bob. Great guy. All right, let's wrap up our thoughts here on NXT. Jay Shell, give me your rating out of 10 and your final thoughts on the show. Chat, in the meantime, put your rating in the chat so we can get some gauge on this. Jay Shell, you start us off. Go ahead.
Oh, this is going to be bad after last night. 6.57.
I love the specific. By the way, I visited a certain Ring of Honor centric forum last night. You weren't alone, Jay Shell. There was some conversations going on. It was pretty wild out there. I was like, damn, I need to give Jay Shell a link to this thing.
I do need a link. Yep, I need to find my people.
It was. I don't think you'd be surprised by those people, but I understand. Bobby, what's your rating on this one?
I'll go about 6. The tag match was very fun. The ladder match was good. The second half of the women's match was good, and that was good enough for me.
I've got it at 6. I spoke to Oracle about this, and you can kind of piggyback accordingly, Oracle. But honestly, my biggest problem with the show, while I get your gripe with the finishes, which is fair, I thought the pacing was real rough.
It was really rough.
I thought it felt like it really dragged, and it wasn't a long show. So that was, I thought, damning. I actually enjoyed most of the action. I had a fun time, but I would say a 6 is about as high as I could go. Oracle, what's your rating and what's your kind of conclusion?
I would probably give it a 6 flat. First half of the show was really good, I think. Second half was not so much. There are concerns about how they're treating NXT. And let me say this, in defense of NXT. Well, it's not necessarily a defense, but it's more like before the change to 2.0, they had Finn Balor as a champion and stuff, right? So like this isn't like, but it was different, right? Because the presentation was different. But yeah, I mean, there are concerns if you're one to be invested in that program or that brand, there's definitely concerns.
Luckily, everyone that is invested has nowhere near the awareness to actually be concerned. So you get what you get, I suppose. All right, Oracle, take us through these betting odds, pal, before tonight's big WrestleMania event. Go ahead.
Okay. There's multiple sites that have released them, but this is based off of Per Bet Online. The latest betting odds. Doesn't appear there are any major shifts. Let's see.
Oh, yes. Oracle doing the weather.
Are we ready? Night one.
Very much so.
Okay. Yesterday, do you want me to start with the first match that's on there, or do you want me to like really build it up?
It's up to you, man. Your segment.
Okay, we'll build up Bianca and Becky just for fun. In fact, we're just gonna go up to night 2 and start there, and then we'll go to night 1. So Pat McAfee and Austin Theory. Minus 70 for Pat to plus 30 for Theory. So Pat, that's
interesting.
Pat seems to be the winner there, though I think it's probably getting closer to more of a toss-up in some ways.
Okay. Close.
Johnny
Very
Knoxville,
close.
Sami Zayn.
Mm.
Johnny Knoxville, Sami Zayn, minus 300 for Knoxville, plus 200 for Zayn.
Okay.
It's a lock, brother.
This interests me. Omos, Bobby Lashley, minus 70 Omos, plus 130 Bobby Lashley.
That's very close.
That's a little bit closer than I thought it would be.
Wow, really? I think it's a hard one to pick, man.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Really? You think Lashley could beat him?
Yeah, I think there's always a chance that it's not like Omos. They just say, "Oh, he's not any good." Just give up. They do that a lot with guys.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But he is big man.
Yeah.
You know?
I wonder where you were going with that. He's big. Exclaim.
That means Vince likes him. That's what I was saying.
Factual.
Here's a match with some J-Shell investment. Women's Tag Team Championship. In the lead, at a minus 200.
Wow.
Naomi and Sasha Banks. And are not too far behind. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley at plus 185.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Selena and Carmella at plus 500. And way down, Shayna Baszler and Natalya at plus 750.
Dude, let me tell you something. I don't advise or support gambling. You got some spare change, Natty, man. Crazy shit happens when Natty gets in there at WrestleMania. Like, anything can happen. So I'm just throwing it out there.
Don't do that.
WWE Raw Tag Team Championship.
Interested in this one.
RK Bro is in the lead at minus 150.
Okay.
However, close behind at plus 150 is Street Profits.
Okay, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Way down is Alpha Academy at plus 400.
Okay.
I'd switch
Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar.
Oh my God.
Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, Bob. You have some investment in this.
Mm-hmm.
How invested are you in that match, Bob? Okay, that's great.
Roman with a comfortable lead at minus 350. Brock at plus 225.
I'm telling you, man. Maybe it's the memories of New Orleans, but I think that's nuts how confident people are Roman's winning this match. Especially because he's the heel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Night 1. Jay Shell has sent the link. We're prepared to cover this event.
Did you guys see what the on YouTube what the thumbnail of the video is?
Yes.
Joe, you saw what it is? Did you guys see what it is?
I did not. Let me go look here.
It's very fitting. The match choice.
The only match I care about.
Yeah. That's the
fair.
By the way, it's worth noting that Dolph Ziggler was plus 700.
Was he really?
Plus 700, yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
Bron Breakker was minus 1,600. Could you imagine putting money on Bron Breakker at minus 1,600 and losing? Incredible.
16? Damn.
Night 1, WrestleMania 38, AT&T Stadium, Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
Sheamus and Ridge Holland versus The New Day. Sheamus and Ridge Holland, minus 200.
Factual.
The New Day, plus 150.
That's accurate. Absolutely.
This one's very tight and by far the closest match. Dominic and Rey Mysterio. Bob, as you would call them.
Rey Mysterio and his dipshit son.
Thank you. Versus Logan Paul and The Miz. Dominic and Rey Mysterio, minus 140.
Wow.
Logan Paul and The Miz, even.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody's money, that one, folks. All bets are off. Wow.
There could be a Dominic heel turn on the horizon.
One day we should all get like, oh my god, we should get like fake money and then place like fake bets. listen, and then place fake bets, and then there has to be a punishment for the people that lose.
No.
Oh God, no.
So that's young person YouTube talk that will never come. I'll let you. You say game night, I say yes. You say Grin CW, say when you start saying punishments. It's like, no, we don't do that stuff. Okay,
The
leave that for
punishment would be like watch a really bad match.
Yeah, but I don't trust you. That you're venomous. You would do something spiteful.
In the
No,
biggest
I'm making everybody watch
landslide,
Divas matches.
Okay. Well.
in what it seems to be the biggest landslide of Mania weekend on the betting line. Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin. Minus 1,000 for Drew McIntyre.
Oh my God.
Plus 500 for Happy Corbin.
By the way, Wrestling Fantasy League is actually a pretty good pop tope. I'm gonna have to investigate that. That sounds like it could be fucking hilarious. Oracle asking where Mikey Whipwreck is in the lineup. Have like a full on, like an actual, organized thing. Anyway, carry on, Oracle.
This pops me. Okay. What will happen first? Stone Cold stunners Kevin Owens or Kevin Owens stunners Stone Cold?
I got Kevin Stunner and Stone Cold.
Well, yeah. Stone Cold stunners Kevin Owens is minus 700, and Kevin Owens stunners Stone Cold only plus 400.
Oh, damn. That's kind of cowardly.
Yeah.
Pieces of shit.
That's not bold enough for me. I agree. Seth Rollins versus Mark Calloway. Never say never.
John Cena.
Seth Rollins versus mystery opponent. Minus 450 goes to the mystery opponent. Plus 275 to Seth Rollins. Closer than you might think.
By the way, you mentioned John Cena. Tonight was the first time I heard the thing where he narrates the then, now, forever.
Mm-hmm.
Really confused me. That's a recent thing, right?
Yeah.
Cowards. Anyway, carry on, Oracle.
My stomach is literally begging for food. So if you hear my stomach growl on the mic, that is my stomach.
What are you gonna eat?
If you hear my stomach growl, that is my stomach.
My brother and his girlfriend are coming over to watch night one with me, and they'll be bringing food along with them. Chilies. Let's see here.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna eat chili.
Oh my God, you guys are having a great time tonight. I hope the results go accordingly.
Joe, you gotta leave me alone.
I'm just saying.
All right.
I'm definitely not going to go to sleep wondering if the channel will still exist.
Hold on. AJ and Edge is tonight? I thought that was tomorrow.
It's supposed to be tomorrow.
I don't know.
It's been kind of back and forth. No one really knows.
Hopefully Edge and AJ know.
Yeah.
It could be embarrassing.
AJ Styles versus Edge, that's being put as tonight. And I'm reading this per betting thing from 411 Mania, but it's from the per betting site or whatever.
Right.
AJ Styles minus 60, Edge plus 120. That's awfully close. That's a toss up to me.
Look at this. Odds, Oracle versus food.
Also, Ant, I think you want the reaction video if Bianca loses, not if Sasha loses.
I think what he's going for is because you may not be on tomorrow night's show, so you'd be appearing by a clip. I think is what he's going for.
Oh.
You could also just be on the show. I mean, I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't think you'll really care, will you, if Sasha loses? It's like it's a women's tag title match,
Will I be upset? Yes. Will I cry like Bianca? No.
Yeah, very different. Very different.
WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. Close one. Minus 200 for the champions, the Usos. Plus 150 for Nakamura and Boogs.
That's about right.
Yeah.
This is another landslide at the moment, but always risky with one of these people involved. SmackDown Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey challenging Charlotte Flair. Ronda Rousey is currently at a minus 800. Charlotte Flair at a plus 425.
Oh, they should have just made it 420.
That's honestly, I know what you're saying, Oracle. But like, there's no way Ronda's not winning tonight.
I'm pretty confident Ronda's winning too.
Yeah, it feels like she's winning.
All right. Finally. On betting odds that were posted last night for the Raw Women's Championship between Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair, Bianca Belair has lost 50 points. She is now only minus 500. She was minus 550 last night. She's now only minus 500. This is very frightening. Very concerned. Becky Lynch is a plus 300. Jay Shell, based on what I just read to you, what are your thoughts about the shrinking of the betting line over the last 24 hours? What are your thoughts on Becky Lynch looking like 2011 Paramore, Hayley Williams? Or, well, you know, I mean, look, I don't have anything wrong with Trailer Park Women. It's fine. Well, you know, Steve said, as he posted on Twitter, he said, you know, I grew up in the trailer park, you know, it's doing it for me. But
Steve Austin tweeted that?
No. Twitter Steve. No, it's fine. She definitely looks more like Hayley Williams than trailer park trash.
Real glowing compliment there, Oracle.
But
it's like you said, I can't believe you just said. Did you see Bobby's face? Okay. Carry on.
I don't think the haircut looks great. But this is not the first time I've commented on people's hair. Just, you know, just ask Kenny Omega fans.
Factual.
You know, if Becky Lynch
Have
or
you
Seth
guys
Rollins
said
want to
stuff about
dunk on
Adam
me on
Cole's hair?
Twitter.com or something, that's fine. I don't care.
What happened to Adam Cole?
Have you guys said stuff about Adam Cole's hair too?
No, I never talk about Adam Cole.
Okay. How many Patreons did you lose when you said bad things about him?
400.
Okay.
We're not going past 220 cents.
Let me be clear, because I don't want to get people upset. Okay. I like Becky Lynch fine. I know Jay Shell's a huge fan as well.
I like her stylist.
She looks great. Seriously,
her stylist is a black man. I like her stylist.
I'll commend her on this. I think it's always neat when wrestlers change their looks.
Yes.
In all honesty, she just has like the Punk kind of like haircut or whatever. It's fine.
She looks great.
I'm working a gimmick here, people. Just ignore me. I'm very pro Bianca here, so you know if I take some shots,
lashing out.
Bear with me. I apologize. I don't want to offend anyone. I just, you know, Jay Shell and I have a vested interest in this match, and it's, you know, I'm getting a little bit heated. I just want to apologize for my comments. I'm excited for this match. I'm afraid for this match, Jay Shell. Now that I've tried to correct my slightly offensive comments earlier, would you like to add to the betting line situation as well as your thoughts? We're a mere hours away from this matchup.
Yeah, starting with the betting lines. I've just decided that in my mind, Bianca's losing. So it'll soften the blow. Like you said before, you know, go through it now so I don't have to really go through it later. And then just my excitement will be ramped up if it does happen. You know what I mean?
We've trained you well.
Yeah, lower the bar, low expectations is how you succeed with WWE. people online are talking about long-term storytelling, and I swear to God, I think I blocked 5 people this morning because of their long-term storytelling gimmick thing. That is not what this is. And I do not know if I have the emotional capacity to deal with a Bianca loss here. Even though I've lowered my expectations before, it was like I would fully combust. And now I think I would just shrink and stay in my bed for the rest of the year. So it's one of those options. We'll see how that goes. I hope Bianca's gear looks amazing. This is not going to happen. Bianca has been a star, and a white woman will not make her a star. Anywho, moving on from that, I'm looking forward to the match. The match will be good. Bianca's going to kill it. Becky's a great seller, so she'll sell her butt off for her. She just better win. I will cry if it doesn't happen. If they do something with Bianca's hair,
she's winning. Don't worry, guys. Listen.
You know what I think the finish is going to be? Well, first of all,
Joe comes out.
We are all expecting Becky to win because we have to. But if I were to guess the finish, Super KOD from the top rope.
That's dope. I would like.
I assume the lights will go out and a certain fiend will return.
How can they really do that? Like unification next night thing. That's how funny.
So I think the highlight of this show was an Oracle said that Bianca Belair has lost 50 points. Is now only minus 500. One of the greatest things ever said on one of these shows, folks.
Again, let me say, I actually immediately felt bad when I made the hair comment. That made me feel bad. I felt bad about that. Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's okay. There's a lot of hair commentary around here.
Yeah.
Which, quite frankly, when you look at the screen, I'm going to take Jay Show out of this for a second. Probably should be something we don't do as much.
Oh, no. I mean, like, my widow's peak is growing every day.
My hairline's working on a diagonal. Bobby's got his Lego hair over there.
Yeah. Not good.
Look at us. We look like shit. What are we talking about?
Do any of you guys think you could do the braid that Bianca has? Do you think you could at least try it?
No.
Come on. Hey, Jay, can you do a 450 splash? Just asking, Just for that question.
450 splash.
You know what? In Nashville, I will give Bob the KOD on the concourse.
On what?
With Nissan Stadium.
Oh my god.
All right. Anyway, listen, Meech, I ain't commenting on Samoa Joe's hair. I did that in many group chats. I ain't doing it publicly. All right, folks. This has been the Stand and Deliver review. Apparently, we reviewed that show. All hail Dolph Ziggler, the NWA World Champion. These 3 folks will be back tonight. What was that, Jay? Sorry.
I just don't understand the NWA gimmick.
He's the world champion.
No,
he's the world champion, NWA.
World. NXT.
He represents. No, there's an S. It's the NWA World's.
World,
anyway.
singular.
So, what was I going to... Oh, yeah. So these 3 folks, if they haven't wowed you already with this spectacular broadcast we have produced here, they will be reviewing WrestleMania tonight. If I wake up, even if I have not seen the show, I intend to show up on the review, because when I sleep, because there's a good chance I'll wake up in the middle of your review, I'll try and show up. That'd be funny. Don't expect me, though, because I need to sleep. It's been a while. Been a while for me, okay? I'm very tired. I do look like shit right now, even more so than usual. Let me sleep. So that's tonight.
Can I say something real quick again?
Yes, you can.
Expect a celebratory feel tonight, or total venom from Jay Shell and I.
One extreme or the other, for sure.
Yeah, there's not going to be an in-between. I'm sure the chat wants the venom, but I don't really want that.
No, I want the win here. I want people to do what they did to Joe last night to me. I want them to say, happy for you, Jay Shell. I want to see that all over my Twitter. I don't want to see the hate mail. I don't want to cry. And if they do make Bianca lose, put at the beginning of the show so I can try to get through it by the time we're on the stream.
I will be totally honest. I think you're going to have a lot of fun. I think Bianca's winning. I think it's going to be a really fun show. And that's not me doing it. I think the card is like not a great wrestling card, but I'm kind of confident it'll be like a fun show, if that makes sense. And I'll be there for tomorrow night's show with the review. Jay Show, you're obviously invited if you would like to show up for that. I mean, you may be, quitting wrestling or you may be very excited. It depends what happens tonight, right? So we'll see.
Yeah.
But Bobby and Oracle will be there. WrestleMania reviews coming up, folks, and that will be concluding our WrestleMania weekend. It's been quite the week. It's been many grins. We kicked off the week with the Grin Grappler Samoa Joe edition, which is hilarious in hindsight. Feels like a year ago now, but we did it. I promise.
Feels like a triumph too, doesn't it?
Oh, man, tremendous. LateNightGrin.com. All of these streams, these WrestleMania streams will be free, but you get the audio. So if you want to, drive around listening to it, you don't drive anywhere in particular, just drive around, listen to the Late Night Grin. Many people do that. Blaring it out like Skip Bayless in the California Love in 4 a.m. in LA. Let's close with that. Keep that comment on the screen. Come back to this very channel. Jay Shell's already set up the stream. She's got it all ready to go, which I was very impressed by. Very excited about it, Jay Shell. And I said, oh my God, she set up the stream. I'm very excited. Factual. Please join the pals for that. They're going to have a great time. But in the meantime, all hail the NWA, all hail Dolph Ziggler. Enjoy this outro.
Go Bianca.